Zarc is joining us today, so welcome, Zarc.
Hello.
A couple things about Zarc. He's part of the Rats and Bunnies Guild. He's currently ranked number 4th on the ladder, and he is from Denmark. He plays Temple Order. He's dashingly handsome, and one of the things that we were going to spend a little bit of time today, when I toss it over to him for the intro, is he was basically where I am 2 weeks ago. So he was mid to high 1500s, and in the last 2 weeks he's climbed to number 4. So maybe take a couple minutes, Zarc, and share how you did that.
Basically, I stopped with the mindset of everything else other than what I use is overpowered, and I actually got some good people to mentor me and learned the new faction inside and out, and that was Order. I had Core mentor me for that one, and then I found a deck and I stuck with it all the way up through the ladder, using various techniques such as avoiding decay players by looking at the top 100 list. Because really, it's kind of easy to get there once you have a deck that's okay-ish. All you really gotta do is stick with it, and then you'll learn it eventually.
So how do you, when you have losing patches, which inevitably happen, how do you...
Tilts.
Yeah, how do you change your mindset? How do you get out of that, the rut that you're in to continue climbing?
Well, I have a very weird mindset when it comes to a lot. I basically play like one game every half hour, and then I need to calm down because I take it way too seriously.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I spend a long time calming down.
So you think about it very logically and rationally, that if you lose, you take time. Basically, you give yourself a timeout and go, hey, listen, I'm taking this way too serious. Let's get back on the right mindset.
Yeah, because if you don't, you end up back at the bottom again, and it's really easy to lose points quickly in this game.
It's a great point. Okay, so on today's stream, I'm just going to start our timer here. The coaches that have joined us have volunteered an hour, which is very generous of them, so I want to respect both their time and the time on stream, you guys watching. So today we're going to go through a tempo order build, and so what I've done is I've got a basic one set up here, and I just want to go through it with Zarc to modify it based on what he's running, and then have a couple games. Now, just for to explain what's happening when we share the screen on my side here, the coach is probably about 1 or 2 seconds delayed from what happens on the screen, so there may be a slight delay, or we may do things in a different order than you typically would when you play. However, that's just for the benefit of the coach to be able to get the maximum amount of information and sharing out of them. So what I have in front of me here is a basic deck that I've picked up from a link somewhere that has Wings Cleaver in the 6th spot, but it's a fairly basic tempo. So maybe if you want to run through what you would change to kind of match or align with what you're playing, and I'll update it on the screen here.
Well, Wings Cleaver is sort of like a so-so unit for many people. Some people absolutely adore it. It's a great finisher if you can get it out, especially if you can get an idle down. It promotes you cracking that first idle and getting that early advantage, and then finishing the game off with the Cleaver. I play Tempo Order sort of differently. I like to completely and utterly crush my opponent and then crack idols in unison and go for a quick finish that way, so I don't really have much use for cleavers that way.
Okay, so take the cleavers out.
Yeah. Instead of the cleavers, I like to run Kabonk because I hate decay poison, and that extra damage has actually saved me games.
All right, so we have. Sorry, go ahead. So we have flip. We have a couple flip. Do you run? I have 2 flip and 2 powder in this deck. What do you run on yours?
I run 3 powders and 3 flips. There's a power bound in there, and I don't get that because you don't need ramp in a tempo deck. You basically go to 4 resources and then you stay there until you have to play a Vanguard, and then you stay there until you have to play a Cleaver, and so on. You don't really aim to ramp up to those high degrees that
okay.
a normal order deck would.
You have 3 flip, you said, sorry?
Yeah. You seem to be lacking that.
What's going on here? Oh, I see. That's my fault. Always is my fault.
Whoops.
There we go. Okay.
You don't seem to be liking it.
All right. What else do we got? We have
What's your other two? You only run 2 speeds. Interesting. I haven't actually taken that mindset. We could roll with that. I usually find myself sacking speeds a lot because it costs 3. And since everything but the crossbowman has 2 countdown, roasted bean potion and blessing of haste have much greater value than that, so we can roll with that.
So just for a comparison for the stream, I have 2 speed. What would be your 2 of card?
My 2 of card is Royal Vanguard, but sometimes because it's a very late-ish card and it only really works in tandem with other units. Okay. But having 3 of them can certainly be a lifesaver because then you can sack them more freely.
All right, I would rather, if you're up for it, I would rather run the deck that you're running just for the sake of...
Well, then take out a Vanguard and put in a speed.
Okay.
And yes, that is a rush deck with only 26 creatures. Trust me, it works.
All right, so let's do this. Save the deck. Is there anything else that we're missing or that has to be changed from this deck?
Not as far as I can see, no.
Okay.
Now, if you're smart, you're going to screenshot the stream right now, and then you're going to put it into Paint, save it to Imgur, and then you're going to build it later.
Whoa, and even, so you can do that on the stream if you want immediate satisfaction. I will also be building a deck linker deck linker, link deck. I'll be providing a link in the video when I post it next week with the deck. So, but yeah, I'll leave it on screen for a second or 2 if you guys do a screenshot. And I will just tee up Mr. DavidSlain if he's up for some matches.
So the basic tempo order mindset is it's a very aggressive style of order that focuses on getting an early board advantage and crack those idols or wipe the opponent's board, which leads to cracking idols either way. Either way, you're gonna try and end your opponent in like 15 turns.
Okay.
10 to 15 turns, around there. That's really the ideal. If you go longer than that, you're gonna start to lose advantage. So we are in the game right now, and let's see what your draw is.
All right, so
this is an interesting one because you're lacking a 2-drop, but you have a roasted bean potion if you need to, but you don't need, so you can have full coverage if you really need it. I'd say you should sack a Kabonk. Oh wait, let's see what you draw. I didn't realize we were going second. Playing against Decay, that's annoying. So against Decay, we want to rush because of the little thing known as the Bloodline Taint that we cannot avoid as order because we only run humans.
So we have no 2-turn play. We have no 2-turn play of a unit. So we have turn 2 play with Kabonk and with double Kabonk. So do I mulligan or do I keep this hand?
What would you do?
I would mulligan.
You can mulligan. This is an oak. This is a decent hand. You can get something much better, certainly.
All right.
Go mulligan it.
Let's see what happens here.
Okay, so this is an interesting hand. Go ahead and sack the Pother.
All right.
See, this is the annoying thing about mulligan. Sometimes you get a good hand, sometimes you get absolutely screwed.
Yeah, that was...
On the bright side, that Ducal Infantryman can kill anything.
Yeah, that was 50-50 with keeping it or going. So
sack a focus here. We want to keep units right now because we're a little starved for them. So play the Ducal Infantryman. This is actually ideal because it's out of the range of Soul Steel.
So
play it in the middle, yeah.
Middle. Now I'm just going to take a little more time because we run out of time real fast later on. So as I've discovered. So next turn, I can play Shield, Skirmisher the turn after that, depending what we have, unless there's a better play. And I would want to load up the middle row, depending where he has. So if I'm Decay, I would want to, if he has a unit out, I would probably put the unit on the bottom row on his side.
Yeah, that does seem like a good idea, unless he has something like Brain Lines that he wants to play instead, in which case we can't stop it.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that some Decay decks do like to run a little thing called Maya Curse, so split your units accordingly.
Oh yeah. So again, Poison playing a Decay, we have to watch out for. I mean, not much we can do for Bloodline Taint, but positioning of units specifically with regards to Mire Curse, so that's something important to watch out for. Okay, so I think we're good. Off
good.
to turn.
It's interesting. Usually they have a turn 1 or turn 2 play, either in the Ripper or the Tribesman.
I would sack Aging, place Shield in front.
No, you want to sack Focus. Aging Knight is a great burst potential.
So
Focus is not exactly essential. Aging Knight is a great early game idle hater, though.
Okay, so I'd want to keep the units because I want more units on board. Although we won't see Focus for a while, we'll just work around it. So sack the Focus and play. I still would. So if I would sack the Focus, I'd play Shield.
Yeah, because you want to be as smart, as resource efficient as possible.
Okay, and then would I? And that's a good point because if we play Aging Knight, we leave 2 resources that we don't use versus trying to maximize what we play. So now, with Mire Curse in mind, do I play Aging Knight? Do I play Wing Shield in front and move the infantrymen back?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's do that. So next round with the Skirmisher, do we play him in the middle row?
Technically, he has no units out, so you can probably get away with spreading him out.
And so if we spread them out, would we put these 2 in this row and the infantrymen in this row so we have the board covered, or would we position it slightly different?
You'd want full board coverage. You always want full board coverage.
So if
that's a really important thing that you want to achieve as Temp Order. You want to smash anything that comes out.
Okay.
Oh, that's actually great because you're going to be playing a skirmisher next turn. Okay, this is actually the point where I'd say you should lose the Knight. Because keeping 1 focus is actually sort of important, but the Knight is basically out there to deal with early game threats, and we are past that stage now. So you want to get out the Dual Skirmisher, and you can play him either.
So do these go up? Now. These go up, and I place him somewhere on this row?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can play the Dual Skirmisher in the middle of the 4th row.
So
keep in mind that Mire Curse is. Keep in mind that Mire Curse is sort of uncommon in the K-Dex, but it never hurts to compensate for it, and you want full board coverage anyway.
Okay, so keep the exact same row positioning, just move row 3 up to row 2, and then place Skirmisher middle on row 4.
Yeah, and if you absolutely need to deal with a threat, you can always risk mashing them together because there's only 3 Mire Curses in the deck.
Got it.
At most. Let's see if he has another languid. It's entirely possible. So here's where we hit the ideal order resource. You can either sack for a Vanguard, or you can just pitch for cards all the way through. You pitch for cards, you play a creature. You pitch for cards, you play a creature. 2 creatures is ideal. You pitch some for cards and you play haste and creatures. Oh, that's annoying. It's an annoying one. Okay, so let's see. We've already pitched the 2 box, so we can't really land that one. This is an interesting one. I'd say pitch the speed.
Speed for cards. Speed for cards.
Yeah. You don't really have enough. Oh, that's good. That's good. Wings Captain is always nice.
So, because he has no haste units, if I was playing against Growth, I would probably do something like Shield in front of the Skirmisher on the bottom row or something like that. But in this case, do we maximize resource play and play the Wings Captain?
Yeah, I'd say you should move the middle row down.
Okay.
No, wait, I was doing. I mean, you risk moving the Skirmisher up in order to threaten the Light Bearer.
Yeah.
And then you deal that 1 damage to it, so you can basically.
Okay, and then what? Play the Wings Captain.
Control whether or not it dies easier.
Okay, and so the Wings Captain. Sorry, I missed that part. You cut out there for a second. Wings Captain in the middle here.
You don't technically need to. You can get away with putting him in the very top left.
Right there.
Yeah, because if you haste him, he basically gets 2 movement. Keep in mind, we have drawn 0 Being Potions and 0 Blessings of Haste.
Got it.
So you can basically, so if you need to get some really good board coverage, you can basically just move the captain down and Blessing of Haste, and then every one of those units gets an extra movement.
And the reason why we didn't put the wings captain in the middle on the top row is because of keeping the units separated.
Yeah, keeping the units separated. Usually, whoa, that's a countdown and a half to wings captain. You don't want to use the double movement right there, just a heads up. Okay, let's see. You have drawn Kabonk. Don't pitch that yet. We're at the point where it could be useful. I'd say pitch the 2 health unit, the wings soldier.
For cards, right?
Cards, of course. Yeah, for cards. Okay, so let's see. Which of these cards is the least valuable and we can allow to perish the most?
Which of these cards is
if
the
you
least
want to,
valuable?
you can move the shield down and focus on the ducal infantryman, and then you place wings, not royal skirmisher down on the bottom in order to threaten the pillar.
Excellent. And this is a great example. So my first thought, without thinking this through, would have been to haste the shield. So I would have put 2 damage on the Blight Bearer, but what would have happened next turn?
And then allow him to poison 2 units,
Yeah.
which is not good.
Exactly. So shield down to middle row in the front. Focus on the infantrymen.
Ducal infantryman.
That guy. And then put the skirmisher on the bottom row.
Yeah.
Got it.
Basically, you want to start threatening that. If anything, you're gonna have him try and place units down there, which means you are free to take control of the top part of the board and start cracking his idols. Also, good thing to keep in mind, there's been 0 bloodline taints, 0 infectious blights, and 0 witches.
Yeah.
Not to mention 0 brain lice. So either he's playing a deck that I haven't seen in a very long time, or he's just getting insanely unlucky with his draws and we're gonna be in for a hell of a lot of pain later.
Yeah.
Anyway, if he doesn't play anything in front of the Pillar of Fatigue, you're probably gonna want... Oh,
there
it
is.
comes! There we go! There we go! It's only a matter of time.
Okay, and so...
Okay.
All
Here's
right.
what you want to do. You wanna pitch the wing shield.
For cards?
Yeah, always for cards right now.
So when would we move up to 5? When we have a play for
You're
5,
probably
right?
gonna move up to 5 next turn.
Okay. So
Because you finally draw a Vanguard.
okay, all right,
So-
because we don't need 5 until we have it.
Take a look at this. Based on the board state, what do you think you need to do?
So I have 4 resources. I would play. I need to get rid of the Pillar of Fatigue, so I would haste the skirmisher on the bottom row, and I would play a skirmisher. So I would play haste on him, and then I would play royal skirmisher on probably up here somewhere, just to provide more pressure.
That is the correct play in this circumstance.
Okay, and so this skirmisher I would place in the front here just to keep him separated,
Yeah.
and then I would haste him.
And then you basically kick back and watch the fireworks. I have no idea what you're saying in chat. The resolution is not good enough.
Oh yeah, no worries. I'm just David was offering more time for us to dialogue, just based on learnings from other coaching sessions we've done. So he's being generous with his time. Okay, so that makes sense. So now, so we're just going to let the time run out as we've talked a little bit, and then he's going to take a little bit of time on his side because I want to dialogue a bit about this. So we're now at 4 resources. He's at 6 with 3 cards in hand. Now, I'm going to guess he's going to continue ramping. We have board presence, but we have Bloodline Taint. He still has 2 Bloodline Taint that he hasn't used.
3 witches.
And 3 witches. And so we want to. So my thinking right now is we want to continue be putting units on the board every turn to take into account when he plays whatever he's going to play that's going to destroy our creatures.
Yep.
Creatures
So,
are units.
Let us see if he has the double witch.
Okay.
Because that absolutely screws us. Whew. That is weird.
Okay, so we don't need decimation. Pitch decimation for resources. Play Vanguard.
Yeah, but before you do that... Oh, wait, yeah. pitch for resources first. Either decimation will do. So here's what. Firstly, we have to do some maneuvering. So we can see that we have some units attacking right now.
Yeah.
You basically want to kill that witch doctor because he's blocking your idols. Right now we've basically committed to the top half, and he's trying to protect it. So if we can just hammer him down, that's going to be great.
Okay.
But chances are that he's going to play a human in front of him. So we want a way to reliably break that.
Right.
So if you could play the Royal Vanguard at the top.
Top middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
To hell with markers.
Yeah.
Because we've only drawn 2 countdown reduction, and those were both blessing things. We haven't drawn any bean potions yet.
Yeah, 15-second warning. So do we move the skirmisher and the shield up?
You're going to want to move the skirmisher back, the middle skirmisher.
Back row.
Yeah.
Back. Okay.
Oh, and move the royal skirmisher up 1.
Yeah.
In the middle, preferably. And then just go ahead.
All right.
So if he doesn't, so the interesting part here is that if he plays something to block, chances are we're going to draw some kind of countdown reduction next turn that we can then use to just absolutely murder that guy. And then it won't matter how much he has. Alternatively, we could try and go for absolute idol massacre.
So we have 2. We have the captain and the skirmisher on the top row counting down next. We have the skirmisher on the 4th row counting down. He plays damning.
No, we don't. Not anymore, we don't.
We did.
Okay, so he plays that in front. Oh, that's interesting. We haven't drawn any flips yet, have we?
No flips yet.
Okay. Blessing of Haste, you can pitch the clock. We don't need that right now.
So, okay, so just... We don't need the Kabonk. Why wouldn't I Kabonk the Blight Bearer and have the skirmisher take him out, and then have the Wings Captain take out the Witch? Oh, because of the husk.
Spawns a husk.
Got it, yes. Okay.
So, pitch the Kabonk.
For cards?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's not what we need. Okay, damage control time. Basically, you move out of the way. You can do that because it has double movement, your Wings Captain. Skirmisher screwed, unless you want to play the crossbowman in front. Which you can do if you want, but...
So Wings Captain, middle.
Yeah, Wings Captain in the middle.
Okay. Move him out of the way to
that
save him.
Out. And then you could try and move the skirmisher back and also save him with the crossbowman.
Okay, and do
next turn.
The 3 damage that's happening on the 4th row, do I try to move him up to do damage to the middle idol?
No, because you're going to take it up with the captain. That's just wasted damage, and we don't like wasted damage.
Okay. Do I use...
And then you just... You don't use a decimation. You want to keep those.
Okay. So we had 4 resources left that turn, which was okay because we had 2 decimations we didn't want to use, and the haste was...
No, it's not. It's technically not okay. We want to be as resource efficient as possible, but we don't want to pitch these decimations right now.
So what, ideally, if I was thinking faster, we would have used Blessing of Haste on one of the units?
No, because that serves no practical purpose. Ideally, next turn... Oh god, here comes the witch. Ideally, that would not have happened. So, that's a board wipe. And this is basically the point where we start to fall immensely behind. So, damage control.
Alright.
So, this is basically why Ordo doesn't have a particularly good matchup against Decay.
Yeah.
So...
Decimation for cards?
I wouldn't say so. Oh, well, yeah, second for cards.
Or what would you say?
No. I was just thinking if there was a better way to do it. Sack for cards.
Okay. Crossland Aging Knight.
Okay, he's smart. He's been smart enough to move his thing out. His Blight Bear out of the way. So I'd say you just throw down the Aging Knight, throw down the Crossbowman, And if you want to, you can Blessing of Haste the Aging Knight in order to immediately take out the witch.
Got it. So crossbowmen in front of the Aging Knight.
I'd say in the back, because if he attacks even once, then he's worth it. The Aging Knight is basically only good for chomp blocking after 2 turns.
Okay, so Aging Knight and crossbowmen on roll 4.
Yeah.
And then haste the Aging Knight.
If you want to, it's not needed. It's not exactly needed. He's gonna attack next turn, but if he finds a way to protect it, then that's 2 extra damage.
All right, so
Your
let's do it.
call.
I did it. Okay, so the Blightbearer dies this turn. Witch Doctor is attacking next turn. We don't have any units in hand, so we need to be flipping for cards coming up.
Yeah.
And we need to make
Well,
sure...
you don't flip for cards, but you pitch for cards.
Pitch for
Flip doesn't
cards.
draw a card.
Sorry, I pitched for cards.
I am so nitpick.
No, I appreciate that.
Okay, let's see. His Witch Doctor attacks next turn. Now we get the Aging Knights. Wonderful. Pitch the last decimation draws. We don't really have a choice. Flip is too important.
Oi! Triple flip.
This is not what you want when playing Simple Order, by the way.
I know. I know enough to know that's not what I want.
You must be doing something wrong.
It's totally my fault.
Well, there isn't really much you can do. You can play the Aging Knight and then you can flip stuff around for fun if you want to.
Yeah, so at this point, this would probably be, realistically, this is the game. Would you say?
Right now, yeah, you're probably not going to be able to come back unless DavidSlain has the most horrid draws in history. Keep in mind, he still has another Bloodline Saint and another Witch left.
Alright, so let's do, just for the sake of 1 or 2 more turns here. So let's just play this out, just maybe a turn or 2. Is move the Aging Knight back to the middle position, put the Aging Knight in front on row 4.
Yeah, I think he's demonstrated he doesn't run Maya Curse. You can start playing in rows again.
Oh, that was misclick.
Thank God for movement.
Alright,
And then next turn you can flip the Witch Doctor and murder that bastard.
alright. There's no use flipping anybody now, because we can't do any attacking damage anyways.
If it was a cantrip, we probably would have, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Note to self: has the scroll steps to make flip a cantrip.
Because clearly it's in an ineffective card.
Yes, that's basically how you do it. You whine about something that you think is bad, and then you wait until they buff it, and then you bum rush the ladder.
Yeah, I saw your tips on the stream. Those were very effective tips. Someone should have been capturing those.
Yeah. I mean, it is totally acceptable to root for your opponent's disconnect.
So he has 4 cards, 7 resources. He is more cards.
More cards.
Easy buy. And
basically, we ran into one of the worst situations that you can send border. We got all of the good cards. We got all the cards that we wanted, like spaced out at the same time. We didn't get a good creature curve early. We went second, which is like 50% of the battle. And we can't even reach the bloody Witch Doctor unless we double flip.
And the mulligan, we took a 50-50 shot at the mulligan, and we ended up with a worse shot. All right, so
okay. You pitch your flip here. I think we can do that safely.
It's a pretty safe call here. All right.
And, oh, that's the first roasted bean potion. How convenient. Okay, so what we can do here is we can flip the Oblivion Seeker away, and then we can flip the Witch Doctor down.
Okay, done. And flip the Oblivion Seeker, roll 1 right in the back.
Actually, no, that's bad play. You should definitely play the Ducal Infantryman. Move the. No, wait, I am getting really weird. You want to play the Ducal Skirmisher in the back and move down the Crossbowman.
Okay. Do I want to
move him up? Actually, move him up. You want to threaten as much of the board as possible.
So, Crossbowman up, Infantryman on row 4.
Yeah, in the back. That means you get 3 damage through to the idol with 7 health, by the way. And you also give him 2 cards, which is. Why don't I keep saying Ducal Infantryman? Royals, Ducal Skirmisher. Damn it. Oh well. That's my fault.
Okay, do I do anything else?
No.
10 seconds. So we have three resources. Three resources left. Doesn't make sense flipping anything. Doesn't make sense roasted beef.
The second Oblivion Seeker if you want to take him out, but that's it. I don't know why I kept saying Ducal Infantryman. That you should have flipped him up because you don't kill him.
See, I miss. Yeah, my fault. My bad. Who's someone on stream?
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not making sense either. Trust me.
No.
I keep saying things I don't want to.
So that was so just for the stream. That was a misplay on my part. I should have kept the Aging Knight in the middle row to get idle damage.
That's the first harvester. Wow. And that's a useless chop block. So yeah, just for the record, I'm not making good judgment calls here either. I basically said play the Ducal Infantryman when I meant the Ducal Skirmisher because I got the names mixed up, which shouldn't happen. Especially. Oh well, let's see. We have 2 units attacking this turn. If you move the crossbowman, if you move the Ducal Skirmisher, the Ducal Infantryman up. And the crossbowman in the middle.
Yeah.
Ducal Infantryman up. Flip the Ducals, that Oblivion Seeker up, and not in the range of the Witch Doctor preferably. So you flip them up to the front row, and then you pitch one of the Ducal Skirmishers for resources.
For resources?
Play a Ducal Skirmisher.
Ah.
Yeah, so you can play a Ducal Skirmisher.
Okay. And that play on row 4?
I'd say, yeah.
Does it matter? I play in the middle in row 4.
If you want to, you can. We don't. We know he's not playing Maya Curse, so.
Okay.
Or we assume that he's not playing Maya Curse. If he soul steals here, it's gonna. If he soul steals and go. If he go. Oh my god! If he goes Bloodline Side Witch here, we're basically dead. That could work as well. See, this is the point where having a box is actually really useful. Except, in the early game when none of it gets... That is actually not beneficial to him whatsoever. I am confused by that play. He's basically allowed you control over the board down there.
Okay,
pitch the flip.
I was going to say pitch flip for cards.
Yeah.
She has 6/3, 2 for 2, 3.
So you want to play the Wing Shield and the Wing Soldier?
Roll 4.
Yeah.
And then keep the crossbowman in the middle as a blocker.
You can do that, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Trying to think of the. Okay, so what we're looking for here is we're trying to. We know he's running Infectious Blight. He has only used 1 Baleful Witch so far. He's used 2 Bloodline Taints. That's his second pillar of fatigue. Don't think he's playing Mire Curse. We're around 14. We have 1 idle down. He is 1 idle down. We have more idle damage. Okay.
And he's used 3 language to my knowledge, so unless he plays Damning Curse on... Unless he plays Damning Curse on the Ducal Skirmisher, chances are going to have him able to attack. And since we've only played 1 Ducal Infantryman so far...
Alright, so whatever happened with you dropping something, you're now about 70% of the volume that you were. Just as a heads up for you, Zarc.
Yeah. Okay. See, that is why it was a bad idea for him to do that, because we're fine down here. We can spend an eternity down here. He's probably realizing that now. Oh, it's an Eager Scryer. Haven't seen that in a long time. Those things are amazing draw machines.
He just moves them every turn and gets a card.
Yep. And we can't stop it.
Alright.
Okay, we have the second one in the game. So, You'd wanna move. You wanna get the Blight Bear out of the way. It's a 2 out of 5 chance that it gets out of the way, but I think it's worth the risk.
So pother the Blight Bear?
Yeah. If anything, just for cards.
Okay.
And pitch Roasted Bean Potion.
Because we have 2, don't need them right now, need units. We have 4 resources left.
If you want to, you can have the 2 health Wings Soldier attack if you want to. Or you can just play the Royal Skirmisher and try to go for the 4 prisoners down there, which I actually would recommend.
So at this stage, play the Royal Skirmisher 5th row in the back.
Yeah.
And then we leave 1 resource. The alternate play, is there an alternate play? Not.
The alternate play should bother again for cards and see what happens.
Got it. And the pother the Husk?
You could do that.
All right,
You could do that.
I think we'll stick with the initial. We have 10 seconds left, so I think we'll stick with the initial. Put Skirmisher 5th row in the back.
By the way, to all the people who think that Simple Order is overpowered, just look at this game. So that Black Bearer is extremely annoying, especially if we get a Bloodline Saint played on us. Our general strategy right now is survive and try and get that 4th idle pair down, and then we just go for decimations. Oh, this is actually a great bother target. Also, he moved it around, so that's great. So basically, the whole top row is... We should probably deal with that harvester. I forgot about that. Except if it moves, it counts up, so... I think it's fine, especially because it can't reach just yet.
Yeah, so when it attacks, it hits a 0 idle. If it moves down to try to attack the middle row, it gets +1.
Well...
Why?
Thanks?
On the chat, you guys may have missed it, but he just went F with a whole bunch of U's, so he messed up.
Interesting strategy. I don't really have a comment on that.
That's one of the things, just as we comment on this, I think this is one of the, at all levels of play, there's always misplays. So just it happens at the top, you have fewer misplays than possible, but it always happens. Okay, so we sack for cards. We don't need...
Let's see. You want to pother first of all.
Pother the Blight Bearer because we have a 67% chance of getting it out of the way.
Yeah, we have a 67% chance of getting out of the way.
Pother, done.
Basically.
Of course, it stays in there.
That is not what we wanted. Oh well. Well, so here's where we can just go for broke. You can Kabok the Black Bearer, and then you can Roasted Bean Potion your skirt.
First of all, sack for resources or cards? Sack for cards. What do we want to sack for cards?
You Kabok first.
Oh, Kabong first, because then you can see if there's something else that we can sack for cards better than what we have in hand.
Because we've already decided on the play, so
okay.
If we get something useless that we can sack.
Okay.
We don't want to sack the Wings Captain, I'd say sack the Speed.
Okay. Now we have Roasted Bean.
Yeah.
Roasted Bean the Skirmisher.
I would have, personally, I would have sacked for resources there in order to play the Crossbowman, but...
Ah.
Roasted Bean quickly, you have 7 seconds.
Alright.
So basically what we're doing here is we're going all in. That's basically what we're doing. We're not expecting to win on board prisons anymore. We're just gonna go decimation fishing, basically.
Okay.
So, Invoker Pump is probably gonna come in handy. Like, real handy.
And for people that joined us later on in the stream, probably about 7 rounds ago, I had a misplay that basically called the game. So we decided to play it out just to see what would happen. So anything other than a loss right now is a bonus. So we just thought we'd kind of play it out what happens when you misplay, which I did. Shocking, I know. Okay, so And I have Unit 1 joining me here on stream, kind of chilling, watching what's happening. So welcome to the stream, Unit 1.
Hello.
All right.
Okay, so he's playing. Okay, that is annoying to say the least. It's not insurmountable. Okay, that's a lot of poison damage. I don't like that. Let's see. We have a lot of options here. Let's say sack the crossbowman.
Resource or cards?
Cards. Okay, so we have don't have a lot of options here, really. I'm gonna go with you should play the Wings Captain and the Wings Soldier.
Wings Captain here.
Yeah, in the middle.
And Soldier here. Sorry, Wings Captain, 4th row middle, and...
No, you want to play the Wings Captain in the bottom.
So Wings Captain, 5th row, right in the front.
Yeah.
And then Wings Soldier...
In the bottom middle. We're going all in on that row.
Bottom middle, you mean 4th row middle?
No, bottom middle, you move the Aging Knight up.
Okay, so just talk me through that, why we would do... Oh, because we wouldn't be able to move the... because we're stacked units down there, we wanted the Soldier down in there because he has more attack.
This is basically the point where we pray to the RNG gods. Maybe the Damning Curses are not far, that would be great. But we're basically at the point where we're running out of ways to win.
Yeah. Whatever window we had is now...
pretty much closed. If he finds a way to clear this board, we're done. I mean, the only possible play is if we somehow drew into triple flip right now instead of back when it was useless.
Instead of 5 turns ago.
This is a triple flip.
We also had triple decimation. Not in the same hand, but we had decimation, 3 decimations in 3 hands, I think, so... If I recall correctly.
That was kind of annoying,
yeah.
But that's kind of how it goes. Either you get the right draws or you're screwed.
Alright.
Okay, we want to pitch the kabonk. For cards. We don't care about the Bloodline Saint anymore.
So we have 6. We have...
We are gonna have a world of pain headed our way because of the Harvester.
Yeah. I think this is GG.
Yeah, this is basically GG. We don't really have a way of coming back. Damn you, DavidSlain! Why did you play the game?
Alright.
Again, if you don't kill your opponent in the first 15 turns, you're basically dead unless you have an overwhelming advantage. And that double Bloodline Saint Witch basically sealed the deal.
Yeah. Okay, so just to recap the game, because there's some good things, there's some good points that happened there that I want to recap with you. So I think we had, I had a misplay early on, and David had a misplay late in the game, which he came back from and we didn't. So to recap, let's just put it up on the screen here. Okay, so we had...
some abysmal draws, triple focus in the beginning, triple flip in the mid-game.
All right,
triple designations in the mid-game.
And so this
only
is
one captain.
And this is a great example of getting greedy with a mulligan. So I think when we first had the cards on screen, it was decent. It wasn't the best we could have had, but it was decent. We opted to go for best, and instead we got less than what we had. And so I think that's a good learning moment of it's not always good to get greedy. It's rarely good to get greedy.
It also didn't help that we went first.
Yes.
No, second.
Yeah, we went second, so we're second playing. You brought up a great point off stream that with this deck, so let's just do based on the time that we have here, I think we'll just do a recap and a summary of what's going on the stream here. So we had...
7 minutes.
Yeah. So I think what we had is, with this deck, based on your experience, the downside of this deck, or the worst matchup, is Decay.
Yeah.
Is that...
Order versus order, but that's only if you go to turn 2.
Yeah, so I specifically asked David not to do order versus order, just based on our last session that we had of mirror matching, that mirrors often go an extra lengthy amount of time.
Order versus order, they go for like 5 turns and then the winner's decided.
Oh yeah, depending on what you have. Hey, just from your experience, does tempo order or late game order win on a matchup?
Tempo order wins almost all the time because order has no combat scroll, so if they work up a good board advantage early on, which tempo order is more likely to do because of an earlier creature curve, then they're basically just going to snowball, and the late game order is not going to have any way of removing it. Best example of this is when I basically stole 40 points from that Overlord because he played a late game order deck.
Oh, so that was
sniping him because I'm a douchebag.
So that was actually my question to you, is that his theory, I mean, this was a week ago, so that's a lifetime in Scrolls meta, but his theory was that his speed mangonels would help with board clears and would help with coming back from tempo order, and clearly that's not the case because the fact that you're in the top 5 and he's not. No disrespect to him at all.
But the fact is, the Overlord's deck is a structure-focused deck, and do you know what's really, really good against structures? Flip and Pother. And I run more of those than other people do.
Got it.
So that also factors into it.
Yes, that's what I noticed when we changed from the basic deck that we had early on in the stream. We changed to the deck that you're running, is that you added on a Flip and a Pother. You added more movement pieces, which is, to your point, really strong against a structure deck, whether it's a late game order with lots of structures for shields or whether it's like an energy structure.
Yeah, also it helps with those idle snipes, which we would have seen if we hadn't drawn 3 of them at the same time. That's not what you want to happen.
So this was a combination of misplay on my part as well as poor mulligan choice in addition to bad card draw. So I think a combination of those 3 and strength of play on David's side and coming back from some misplays on his part, which is why the outcome was what the outcome was, to take nothing away from what David was playing. So you said
basically, when you're playing against Decay with this deck, with these kinds of deck, you're gonna get Bloodline tainted, and you're gonna get Witched. That just happens at the high level. So your ways to counter it is to just bum rush them.
So put as many units on board. So that was that was my question: is do you flood as many units on the board as possible, or do you hold some in your hand, anticipating the Bloodline taint to play after?
Well, problem is that the Bloodline Taint Witch combo doesn't wipe the board, it only wipes your board. And once you start to fall behind this tempo order, you've lost.
Got it.
This isn't the case in, for example, versus Growth, because their tempo order actually has the advantage there because of Wing Shield, which is a pain in the ass to deal with this Growth.
Yeah.
Not to mention the abundance of sniping that you can do in their enchanted units, and you basically have a better creature curve. Aging Knight is a wonderful counter to turn 2 Brave. And with all the Relentless units, you can basically just cleave your way through all the low-cost spam. And you're going against energy, you always have to keep their key scrolls in mind. There are Storm Runners, there's Sudden Eruption, the Thunder Surges, the Burns, and all the other crap.
Yeah.
But you can actually pretty safely play for the board against energy, because if they're removing your stuff instead of playing creatures, then you're actually in a good place. You just don't let them work the card advantage by clumping all your 2 Earth units stuff into a ball.
Yeah. So now is a question for you. As we just kind of give a 5-minute checklist. I think we got about 5 minutes to wrap up. So we had one game which had great examples. Again, I'll be posting these video links as well as the decks played in the video descriptions probably early to mid next week. With regards to climbing the ladder, so I have a couple questions for you because I think it's, like we mentioned at the start of the stream, I think you took an opportunity to go from a mid-1500s player to currently ranked number 4. So a couple questions for you on that is how many games did that take you to make that movement in the last 2 weeks?
The thing is, once you start to know what you're doing, you climb up insanely fast. I have been in the top 100 for less than a week.
Okay.
And that's because I have some great guild mates. You should join a guild, by the way, if you want to climb the ladder. Because guilds, to help each other, you can test stuff against them, you can get a second opinion on your decks, and you can discover that running fleetness in your deck doesn't always make it awesome.
Fleetness does not always equal awesome. That's a good call. It's like the bouncing ball from the last coaching session. But
I use some pretty maybe shady strategies because I know who the top decay players are, and I try to avoid them at all costs because you lose a lot of rating at this.
Yeah, you have one loss and
So-
you get a chunk off your rating.
Yeah.
No, and that's fair, and that's part of the ladder game, or that's part of the ladder strategy. If you're wanting to get into the top 10, you have to raise your game not only in how you play, but also strategically when you play, what you play, making sure that you're connecting with your guild. If you're not in a guild, you need to be in a guild, especially if you want. It's highly recommended that you join a guild to help, to your point, better your skill and grow.
I wouldn't have been able to go so high without the help, for an example, Cole, which is also who's also a coach later.
Yeah, Core
on Sunday.
Yeah.
He's really good at order.
Yeah.
Another thing is that you never give up, never surrender, ever. You keep playing. Keep playing. I'm actually horrible at this, but it really goes without saying. You can, in fact, snipe that last idol. It happens so often that the decay player has it one and they flip, and then you put the crossbowman down, then you speed him, then you focus him, and that's GG.
Yeah.
So till the end, even if it feels horrible, because then that's when you say, I need a timeout, and then you go do something else.
Yeah.
That's so important, because tilting happens incredibly often in this game.
Yeah. I'm the it's a couple points. One, you had a great example. So even in this game where we called it, I think around 12 or 13, where we said, hey, this is probably what I like to call the TSN turning point, where you look at and go, okay, from here on in, unless something changes, we're toast. But as we saw, probably 3 or 4 turns after, we still have potential plays depending on what we would have drawn, bloody English. So I think there's an opportunity to your point, to not give up, and even if you know, or there's a high likelihood you're going to lose, take the opportunity to understand your opponent, understand the deck, look what's being played, and then Zarc's tip of the day is, instead of going on tilt, if you lose a game, take 30 minutes off, relax, go have a, chill out a bit.
Watch some anime or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Listening to music also helps get you in the right mindset, but I've only started doing that recently, and it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think there was one more thing. Oh yeah, spectating high-level players to figure out what they run is a great way to snipe them.
Yeah.
I am such a scumbag on that.
No. It's not the scumbag, but I think the things that you're sharing is that's a great insight, because I think these are things that happen at top level play, because it's very strategic, and it's tough to climb up the ladder, and you go on a couple of losses, and you're messed for a while because of the ratings that you lose, and so. Playing ladder, there's different. Oh, this is my other question was. There's different stages to playing ladder. So,
I'd say there's 3 different stages. There's the plus 500, and then there's the 500 to 100 area where most of the really decent guys reside. And then there's the top 100 where people are just massive tryhards like me.
Yeah. So to summarize Zarc's point. 3 different stages: getting to mid 1500s, which is top 500, getting to the top 100, which is 1700, and then what was the third stage?
The third stage is basically top 100,
okay.
And that's where things can really start to get rough, because you're like, that's blinky, and then you just die.
Yeah.
It's like
so just so you know, you're
their confidence, because how can you possibly beat people like that?
Just so you know, your mic cut out again. Or it's
basically getting over once you're in the top 100, you're going to start facing names that you recognize, and that can be a huge scare. I was like, oh my god. And then I basically resigned that game in my head.
Yeah.
And that's something you want to get over as well.
So those 3 stages is, I would anticipate as well that the types of decks you face shift with those. So in my mind, it's I just kind of confirmed it based on our conversation with you. In my mind, it's very similar, is that there's 3 stages to climbing the ladder. There's the first stage where you've never played to about mid 1500s, and that is, I have a firm belief that anybody can get to mid 1500s.
Anyone. And that you don't even have to copy a deck to do that. You just have to understand what cards are good and what cards are bad.
Yeah,
another thing you have.
Sorry, go ahead.
Another thing you really want to keep in mind is that the decks get sort of predictable when you go into the top 100. When you're anything lower than that, you're gonna have to see some wacky stuff. You saw in the game, I was like predicting he probably has a Maya curse. When are we gonna see the Bloodline Taint? When are we gonna see the Witch? Because people up there run that stuff.
Yeah.
And you can predict that. But you can't in the lower. So it isn't that, so your opponent doesn't necessarily run Maya curse or Bloodline Taint. He probably runs Bloodline Taint. Only stupid people don't run Bloodline Taint. Or poor people who don't have the scroll.
Cool. All right. So my last question that I had for you is the decks, and I think you answered it already. Is that as you get higher up, you'll notice more and more consistent decks that these are the top decks that you play against, and so. Again, so from 0 to kind of 15, mid 1500s, you'll probably face almost anything. From mid 15s to 1700, which is top 500 to top 100, it'll be more refined and is pretty, it narrows the gap of what you face. And then when you're in the top 100, you consistently have your top decks. So for you personally, right now, where you're at, rank 4, is there decks that you consistently? So your last 10 games is maybe a better way of asking this question. Is your last 10 games, what was the mix of decks that you faced in ranked in your last 10 games?
I played against Order, against Growth, against Decay, and against Energy. More so against Energy and Decay than against Growth, and I played like 2 games against Order. Okay. It kind of varies here, which is a testament to how balanced this is right now. But I definitely say there's getting a surge of Order in here, and you're seeing more and more Order games.
Yeah.
But I still mostly play against Energy, which is why I'm so scared of Thunder Surge and positioning my units next to each other.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well, I think if I'm going to summarize real quick, 1 is don't get greedy on Mulligan. 2, positioning was really important when we looked at positioning. Again, that's going to be a common theme that we're just going to kind of walk out as we go through these coaching sessions, but positioning is really, really critical. And then there's some strategic items is if you specifically want to climb the ladder and get in the top 10, it's absolutely doable. And you just have to change how you think and you have to change your game. And I think Zarc showed that today with some great tips that he had specifically on not only what to look for from a deck or an opponent, but also how do you think about approaching it? Because if you want a ladder and if you want to be aggressive and look at certain things, you do have to take it to the next level of competitiveness. So this is a great example for me of someone that was a good player who made himself, a top 5 player, and I think that's a good opportunity where you analyze what do I got to do, and join a guild. So there's many guilds on Scrolls Guide. There's a chart that shows all the different guilds. The majority of them are accepting new members. There's lots of assistance. Like Zarc said, Core helped him understand Order. You get to practice against guildmates. There's awesome stuff. I want to give a shout out to DavidSlain, who for the last couple coaching sessions has been an amazing support behind the scenes to help out with some of the stuff going on, to be a volunteer. And so, again, thank you for your time today. Our next session is in about an hour, so I'll update the stream. But again, thank you for your time today, Zarc. I really appreciate you stepping in and being able to give some insight into your time, and have an awesome weekend.
You too.
All right, thanks, Zarc.